May 1944. British intelligence is in a cold panic. The most secret codenames of the D-Day invasion Utah, Omaha, Overlord, are appearing one by one in the Daily Telegraph crossword. Was it a master spy taunting them? Or was it an accident so catastrophic it could get the entire invasion destroyed? May 2nd, 1944. 57. St. James's Street, London. The air on the third floor is thick enough to chew. It's a bitter stew of stale pipe smoke, stale tea, and something metallic, the smell of raw, institutional panic. This is the home of MI5's B Division, the counter-espionage registry, and for 2 years, their entire existence has narrowed to a single, terrifying point: Operation Overlord. In this room, the name itself is never spoken. It's the plan, the operation, or simply the big one. It is the most secret thing on earth. It is a secret held together by deception, barbed wire, and the brutal classification stamp, BIGOT. The BIGOT list is the most exclusive and most dangerous club in the world. To be on BIGOT means you know where the sloping, sandy beaches of Normandy, you know when a narrow, tide-dependent window in early June, and you know the names. The names are the keys, they are the sacred words: Utah, Omaha, Gold, Juno, Sword, Neptune, Mulberry. Men on the BIGOT list are prisoners of their own knowledge. They are forbidden from travelling, from flying lest they be shot down and captured, from drinking in public, from speaking to their wives. Their letters are opened, their calls are monitored. They are the living, breathing weak point in the entire Allied war effort. Major H.L. Trigger Davies, a man whose prematurely grey hair and twitching eyelid speak to the pressure of running the double-cross system, is reviewing a file. His desk is a fortress of paper. His focus is on Garbo, his star double agent, who is currently feeding the German Abwehr a masterful diet of lies about a fictional army, Fusag, preparing to invade the Pas-de-Calais. Everything depends on the Germans believing that lie. The real invasion, Overlord, must remain pristine, untouched, unspoken. A young lieutenant, Pike, sips his lukewarm tea and idly unfolds the day's Daily Telegraph. It's a ritual, a small slice of civilian normalcy in a building that hums with paranoia. He turns to the back page. The crossword. Clue. One of the U. S. 4. Pike, an educated man, thinks. Ohio? Iowa? Full. He pencils in the answer. Utah. He thinks nothing of it. Why would he? It's a state. It's a crossword. 10 days later, May 12th, 1944. Another day, another stack of intercepts, another pot of bad tea. Lieutenant Pike, on his mid-morning break, again turns to the Telegraph crossword. He's become rather fond of this compiler. The clues are tricky. He scans the grid. Clue 17 across. Red Indian on the Missouri. 5. He taps his pencil. Cree? Sioux? Full. He thinks of the American GI.S. flooding the south of England. He thinks of the Great Plains. It clicks. Omaha. He writes it in. And then he stops. The pencil hovers. A cold, prickling sensation crawls up his spine, a feeling he's trained to recognize. It's the feeling of a pattern. He fumbles in the wastebasket by his desk, pulling out the crumpled paper from 10 days ago. He smooths it out. His eyes dart between the two grids. Grid 1, Utah. Grid 2, Omaha. Pike's blood runs cold. These are not just place names. They are 2 of the 5 sacred words. They are the code names for the 2 American landing beaches. They are the targets. He stands so quickly his chair screeches back, striking the filing cabinet with a sharp crack. Major Davies looks up, his eyes instantly alert, all traces of fatigue gone. What is it, Lieutenant? Pike is pale. He can barely speak. He holds out the 2 newspapers, his finger trembling as he points to the filled-in squares. Major, he whispers. Look. Just look. Davies snatches the papers. He reads the first. His face is granite. He reads the second. The pipe drops from his mouth, scattering hot ash across the classified files on his desk. He doesn't notice. "Get me the director," Davies says, his voice a low, dangerous hiss. Get me everyone." The word Utah could be a coincidence. The word Omaha, appearing days later, is a signal. This isn't a leak. It's a catastrophic, screaming breach. Someone is talking, and they're doing it on the front page of a national newspaper. The silence that descends on the third floor of 57 Street, James's Street, is heavier than any air raid siren. It's the sound of professional terror. Major Davies is on a secure line, his voice stripped of all emotion, a monotone delivery of the facts. The facts are treason. The facts are disaster. Within an hour, 2 men who do not officially exist are standing in the rain outside the Daily Telegraph building on Fleet Street. They are guys from the War Office, quiet, polite, and radiating an authority that has the night editor swallowing nervously. They don't want to see the printing press. They don't care about the war correspondent's latest dispatch from Italy. They want one thing: the name of the Crossword compiler. The editor, a man named A.P. Nicholson, is baffled. "It's just the Crossword," he insists, pulling a file. "Our man, he's been doing them for years. Incredibly reliable." The name. The first MI5 man repeats, his eyes flat. "Dawe," the editor says, relieved to have an answer. "Leonard Dawe, he's a schoolmaster. Sends them in by mail from Surrey." A schoolmaster. The information is relayed back to MI5 headquarters, and the gears of the security state begin to grind. A schoolmaster. Is it a cover? Is he a sleeper, an agent activated after years of dormancy? Is he a dupe, being fed the clues by someone else? Or is he an arrogant bastard, a spy so confident in his position that he's taunting them? In his office, Trigger Davies is chain-smoking, his desk now home to a file thick with Dawe's name on it. They're running checks, financials, known associates, mail intercepts. They're checking him against every watch list, every XX agent's report, every whisper from the continent. So far, nothing. He's just a schoolmaster. The paranoia deepens. If he's not on their lists, he's a ghost. A new network. A U-boat agent, smuggled in by submarine, operating outside the control of the double-cross system. If a ghost knows the BIGOT words, then the entire FUSAG deception, the Phantom Army at Pas-de-Calais, the rubber tanks, the fake radio traffic is useless. The Germans won't be looking at Calais. They'll be looking exactly where the landings are planned. They will be waiting on the beaches of Normandy with fortified panzer divisions. The invasion will fail before the first man gets his boots wet. The date is now May 22nd, 1944. The investigation is spinning its wheels. Dawe's background is clean, too clean. Lieutenant Pike, whose job has now become the single most stressful ritual in the British Empire, arrives at his desk with a cup of tea and the day's Telegraph. He opens it, his hands shaking slightly. He looks at the crossword, and his breath catches in his throat. He doesn't even try the other clues. He doesn't need to. His eyes are fixed on 11. A cross. The clue is simple. This type of big one is a crossword solver's must-8. Pike feels a wave of nausea. He knows the answer. Every single person in B Division knows the answer. It is the name of the file sitting on Major Davies's desk. It is the name of the entire, vast, million-man operation. He slowly, deliberately, pencils in the letters. Overlord. Pike stands up, walks the few feet to Major Davies's office, and places the paper on his desk without a word. Davies looks at it. The blood drains from his face. The room seems to tilt. Utah and Omaha were a breach. This is a confession. This is the enemy kicking in the front door, sitting in their best chair, and lighting a cigar. This is the whole shooting match. The building goes into lockdown. The hunt for Leonard Dawe is no longer an investigation. It is a manhunt. Find him, Davies orders, his voice a low growl. I don't care what you have to do. Get him now. The request goes up the chain to Shave, to General Eisenhower's staff. The brass is apoplectic. How can a random newspaper be printing their most guarded secrets? Has the king's personal study been bugged? Has Eisenhower's private planner been stolen? The Americans, in particular, are furious. Their men are slated to hit Utah and Omaha. They see this as a betrayal. And then, as MI5 agents are piling into cars bound for Surrey, the calendar flips to May 27th. Another crossword. Another clue. The US name for one of the portable harbours for the invasion of Europe, 8. This is impossible. This is insane. The Mulberry harbours are a brand new invention, a secret weapon within a secret operation, designed to be towed across the channel to create artificial ports. Their existence is known only to the absolute highest tier of BIGOT cleared personnel. Pike fills it in. Mulberry. 4 days later, May 30th. 3. Down. One of the D-Day landing beaches. 4. Sword. The next day, June 1st. 11 across. One of the D-Day landing beaches. 5. Wait. Full. The clue for 11 across is Britannia and the answer is Neptune. The naval operation for Overlord. It's a complete inventory. Utah, Omaha, Overlord, Mulberry, Neptune, all in 3 weeks. The only name missing is Gold and Juno and Sword. Wait. Pike checks the May 30th grid again. He'd misread it. 3 down wasn't Juno. It was one of the big fish. 4. The answer was Ling. He shakes his head, trying to clear the panic. It doesn't matter. The core of the Operation Overlord, Neptune, Utah, Omaha, Mulberry has been laid bare for any German agent with a sixpence and a grasp of cryptic clues to read. The invasion is scheduled for June 5th. They are 4 days away, and the Daily Telegraph has just handed the keys to the kingdom to the Third Reich. June 2nd, 1944. Effingham, Surrey. The sound is of a leather cricket ball on a willow bat, a thwack followed by the polite applause of schoolboys. The smell is of cut grass and chalk dust. This is the temporary home of Strand School, evacuated from the bombs of London to the deceptive safety of the countryside. A black Wolseley sedan, muddy from the drive, crunches to a halt on the gravel path. 2 men get out. They do not match the scenery. Their dark, heavy wool suits are built for anonymous London streets, not a summer day in Surrey. They are Major Davies's best. The senior man, with eyes like chips of slate, is known only as Mr. Lord. They don't knock. They enter the main hall, their footsteps echoing on the polished wood. They find the headmaster, who, upon seeing their credentials, turns a pale, waxy colour. Mr. Dawe. The headmaster stammers, is in the senior faculty lounge, grading papers. Leonard Dawe looks up as the door opens. He is a man in his late 50s, with a high-domed forehead, wire-rimmed glasses, and a tweed jacket lightly dusted with chalk. He is the platonic ideal of a schoolmaster. Mr. Leonard Dawe? Mr. Lord's voice is quiet, almost gentle. Yes? Can I help you? Dawe asks, his finger marking a line in a Latin grammar book. We're from the War Office, sir. We need to have a word with you. A matter of some national importance. Perhaps somewhere. Private. The blood drains from Dawe's face. War Office? He thinks of his former pupils, of casualty lists. Is it about one of the boys? No, sir, Mr. Lord says, his gaze unnervingly steady. It's about you. They are in the headmaster's office 5 minutes later. The door is closed. Mr. Lord's associate stands by the door, silent, watching. Mr. Lord sits opposite Dawe, at the headmaster's heavy oak desk. He takes a folded sheaf of newspapers from his inside pocket. He smooths them out. The crosswords. You compile these, Mr. Dawe? I do, Dawe says, a flicker of professional pride in his voice. For the Telegraph. Have done for, nearly 20 years now. Is it a hobby? A passion, I'd say. A love of words. A mental exercise. Mr. Lord taps the first paper. May 2nd. Clue. One of the US. 4. Yes. Dawe nods. A simple one. Utah. And this one. Mr. Lord taps the next. May 12th. Red Indian on the Missouri. 5. Omaha. A fine piece of misdirection, if I do say so. Leads the player to think of tribes, when in fact, and this one, Mr. Lord's voice is flat, cutting him off. May 22nd. This type of big one, 8. Overlord. Door beams. A superb crossword term. An overlord clue is one where the solution is hidden anagrammatically within the clue itself, you see. It's, quote, Dawe's explanation trails off. The man opposite him is not smiling. He is not interested in etymology. He is looking at Dawe as a biologist might look at a deadly bacteria under a microscope. You think this is a game, Mr. Dawe? It is a game, sir. It's the crossword. And this one? Mr. Lord slides the May 27th paper forward. The US name for one of the portable harbours. 8. Dawe is pale now. Sweating. Mulberry. I can't recall how I came by that one. It's just a word. Neptune. 7. Britannia and, yes, Neptune, rules the waves. A classical allusion. The clues, they just come to me. Mr. Lord leans forward. The gentle affectation is gone. His voice is a razor. Mr. Dawe, these games of yours happen to contain the most vital secrets of the Allied war effort. These are not just words. They are the code names for the invasion of France. An invasion set to happen in the next few days. Leonard Dawe's world dissolves. He looks at the man, utterly dumbfounded. The accusation is so monstrous, so beyond the realm of comprehension, that he can't even process it. Invasion. Code names? Sir, you must be mistaken. I am a schoolmaster. Who gives you the words, Dawe? Mr. Lord presses, his voice rising. Is it a contact in London? Do you get them by mail? Do you listen to coded broadcasts? Gives me. Dawe is stammering, his hands shaking violently. No one. I make them. In my study. They are words. Just words from my head. A man's head, Mr. Lord counters, does not just happen to produce 5 of the most secret words on the planet, in order, in the space of 3 weeks. You are either a spy, or you are a fool being used by a spy. In either case, you are a threat to the lives of thousands of men. Dawe is on a knife edge. He can see the arrest. He can see a cell. He can see a noose. His mind is racing, trying to find an explanation for the impossible. How did he get those words? My study, he finally whispers. At home, my notebooks, you can see. I write them down. Words I hear, words I like. From books, from the radio, from the boys. Mr. Lord's eyes narrow. The boys? My students. They chatter. They say words. I collect them. I keep notebooks full of words. And who do these boys talk to, Mr. Dawe? Their fathers? Their brothers? Men on the BIGOT list? Mr. Lord stands up. The interview is over. Take us to your home. Take us to your study. You will show us these notebooks. And God help you, Mr. Dawe, if they are not convincing. The 2 agents flank the terrified, trembling schoolmaster. They walk him past the cricket pitch, where the game has paused. The boys watching the strange men in dark suits hustle their teacher into the black car. As the Wolseley pulls away, MI5 is operating on a terrifying new assumption. The leak isn't a single high-level traitor. It's somewhere in the civilian world. And it's coming from the one place no one ever thought to look. A classroom. June 2nd, 1944. Effingham. Leonard Dawe's home is a modest, brick duplex on a quiet suburban street. It is the very picture of respectable, dull English life. The black Wolseley parked at the curb looks like an undertaker's hearse. Dawe, his hands shaking so violently he can't fit the key in the lock, is shoved aside by Mr. Lord's silent associate, who opens the door and guides him inside. They step into the schoolmaster's study. It is not the clean, sterile office of a spy. It is a dragon's hoard of paper. Books are crammed onto shelves, stacked on the floor, and piled high on the desk. Manuscripts, half-finished essays, and history textbooks form precarious towers. The room smells of chalk dust, pipe tobacco, and old glue. The notebooks, Mr. Lord commands, his voice echoing in the small, cluttered space. Dawe, who has collapsed into a worn leather armchair, points a trembling finger at a shelf above his desk. There, the ledgers. There. Mr. Lord pulls one down, and then another, and another. They are simple, black-bound notebooks, their pages filled with Dawe's meticulous, spidery handwriting. They are exactly what he said they were. They are lists of words. Aberration, bombastic, crepuscular, disestablishment, disestablishment. They are lists of phrases. To buy the farm, gone for a Burton, a sticky wicket. It is the life's work of a logophile, a man obsessed with the shape and sound of the English language. Mr. Lord's associate, meanwhile, conducts a professional, silent search. He checks for hidden radio transmitters, for codebooks, for any sign of microdot photography. He finds only Latin dictionaries and unmarked student papers. Mr. Lord throws one of the ledgers onto Dawe's lap. This proves nothing. It's where you get the words that matters. Talk to me, Dawe. Mulberry. Where did you get Mulberry? Dawe is pale, sweating through his tweed jacket. He is no longer a man being interrogated. He is a man desperately trying to solve the puzzle of his own mind, to save his own life. Mulberry, he whispers, his eyes shut tight. It was, in the faculty lounge. Last month. I was grading papers. The boys, the senior boys, they were talking by the fireplace. What were they saying? They were arguing, laughing, about one of the other boys, young Potter. His uncle is an engineer, a royal engineer. Potter was bragging. He said his uncle was in Scotland, building a mulberry. Dawe's eyes open. That was it. The other boys were mocking him. A mulberry? What? A bush? Is he building a harbour out of bushes? They kept saying it. Mulberry Harbour. Mulberry Harbour. It was a fascinating image. A curious phrase. I liked the sound of it, so I wrote it down. Mr. Lord and his associate exchange a look of cold, sickening realization. The mulberry harbours are being assembled in total secrecy on the coast of Scotland. Young Potter's uncle is almost certainly on the BIGOT list, and he has, in a moment of pride, told his family what he's working on. All right, Mr. Lord says, his voice dangerously soft. Now Overlord. Really, that was them again. The boys. They're always talking about the push, the invasion. They just use words they hear. This is the big one, they say. So, the Overlord. It's just slang, isn't it? A grand term. I liked it. It had weight. This type of big one. It was the perfect clue. And Utah? Mr. Lord presses. Omaha? The camps, Dawe says, his voice barely audible. They're everywhere. Our school. It's surrounded. Thousands of them. Americans. Canadians. They're fenced in, but the boys go down to the wire. They talk to the soldiers. He pauses, the memory surfacing. It was 2 boys, in the schoolyard. They were playing a game, shouting, I'm from Utah. Well, I'm from Omaha. I asked them what on earth they were talking about. They said they'd met 2 brothers, I think, at the fence. The soldiers had told them where they were from. The boys just liked the sound of the names. Utah, Omaha. I did too. They're good, strong 4- and 5-letter words, perfect for a grid. Mr. Lord sits down, heavily, on a stack of the Times educational supplements. The puzzle is complete. The picture it forms is an intelligence officer's worst nightmare. This isn't a master spy. It isn't a German network. It's a chain of total, catastrophic, random innocence. It's a BIGOT-listed engineer, proud of his work, mentioning a Mulberry. It's 2 homesick American GIs from the V Corps, sealed in their staging camp, telling a pair of local kids their home states which happen to share the names of their top-secret landing beaches. It's a group of bored schoolboys, absorbing slang for the invasion overlord from the very air they breathe. And all of it all, these tiny, careless whispers are being funneled, day after day, into the hyper-receptive ears of one man. A man whose hobby, whose passion, is to collect strange and interesting words and publish them in a national newspaper. It is the most terrifying coincidence in the history of the war. Mr. Lord looks at the trembling, grey-faced schoolmaster. The man is innocent, but his innocence has done more damage than a dozen enemy agents. Mr. Dawe, Lord says, his voice devoid of all emotion, "You will be staying here. You will not leave this house. You will not answer the telephone. You will not receive mail. You will not speak to anyone. A man will be outside your door. A man will be at your back gate. You will not write another crossword until we tell you it is safe to do so. Your career as a compiler is over, at least for now. Do you understand me?" Dawe, weeping in relief and terror, nods mutely. Mr. Lord and his associate walk out into the June sunshine. The invasion is 3 days away. "We stand down the manhunt?" the associate asks. "We stand it down," Lord says, lighting a cigarette. He inhales deeply. The man is harmless. "So, it's over? The threat is contained?" Lord looks at his associate as if he's mad. "Contained? Are you joking?" He gestures to the quiet, leafy street. "It's not contained. It's published. It's been on the breakfast table of every man, woman and child in this country for the last month, and every German agent." He gets in the car. The new, terrible question isn't, "Who is the spy?" It's, "Did the Germans solve the crossword?" June 3rd, 1944. La Roche-Guyon, France. The air in the map room of Château de la Roche-Guyon is stale. Field Marshal Erwin Rommel, the desert fox, taps a long wooden pointer against a massive map of the French coastline. His eyes, intense and weary, are fixed on the section marked Normandy. "Here," he says to his chief of staff, Lieutenant General Hans Spadel. "It will be here. All this talk of Calais, it's too obvious. The terrain is wrong. But mein Feldmarschall," Speidel counters, his voice respectful, "all of our intelligence, all of it points to Pas-de-Calais, the Fusag. Pattern. The radio traffic is overwhelming." Rommel scoffs. "Radio traffic can be faked. A phantom army. It is a ghost story. I am a soldier. I look at the beaches. I look at the tide. I look at the sand. The invasion will come at Normandy. It is a lonely, frustrating position to hold." Rommel has been working himself to the bone, planting mines, Rommel's asparagus, building obstacles, and pouring concrete, convinced the Atlantic Wall is a sieve. But Berlin, and the office of the Oberkommando der Wehrmacht, OKW, is utterly hypnotized by Pas-de-Calais. They are victims of the greatest deception operation in history, Operation Fortitude. They believe, with religious certainty, that General George S. Patton is in Kent, commanding the 1st U.S. Army Group, Fusag, a million-man force of rubber tanks and phantom radio signals poised to strike at the shortest point in the channel. Into this tense, argumentative atmosphere steps a flustered young colonel from the Abwehr, the German military intelligence. He is holding a thin file, and he looks like a man who has not slept. "Herr Feldmarschall, Herr General," he says, with a stiff click of his heels. A very unusual report from our assets in London." Spadel, irritated by the interruption, waves him off. "If it is more about Fusag, just file it. We have enough." "No, Herr General," the colonel insists, his voice tight. This is, I believe it is a communication of the highest importance, or the most infantile trick." He opens the file. Inside, protected in cellophane, are 5 newspaper clippings, 5 Daily Telegraph crosswords. Rommel and Spadel stare at him. "A crossword," Rommel says, his voice dangerously quiet. "You have interrupted my briefing. For a puzzle? Forgive me, Feldmarschall, please. Look at the solutions." The colonel, his hands shaking, points to the filled-in squares. "Our London station," he says, began noting a pattern. "On May 2nd, Utah. On May 12th, Omaha. May 22nd, Overlord. May 27th, Mulberry. And on June 1st, Neptune." The room goes dead silent. The pointer in Rommel's hand clatters to the floor. Spadel, a man of sharp intellect, sees it instantly. "Utah, Omaha, these are place names. American. They are, Herr General, the colonel says. But they are also code names. We have intercepted low-level chatter from the American V Corps, the big red one. They use the word Omaha. We have aerial reconnaissance of strange harbour structures. The word Mulberry has been mentioned by an engineer we are tracking. And Overlord is the name we have heard whispered in relation to the entire invasion. Rommel snatches the papers. He stares at them, his face a mask of disbelief. This is it. This is everything. It's not a high-level intercept. It's not a tortured prisoner's confession. It's a game for housewives and bank clerks. It confirms Normandy, Rommel says, his voice a low hiss. He looks at Spadell. It confirms everything I have said. The Americans are landing at Utah and Omaha. Neptune is their naval operation. Mulberry is their harbour. Overlord is the plan. My God, Spadell, they are this arrogant. They are printing their intentions in the open. But Spadell, the cooler, more analytical head, is shaking his head. No, sir, full. This is impossible. What is impossible? It is right here, in ink. Feldmarschall, Spadell says, choosing his words with extreme care. No one is this stupid. Not the British, not the Americans. This is not a leak. This is a plant. It is a deception of dazzling arrogance. Rommel freezes. The logic is, in its own way, flawless. Spadell continues. They know you suspect Normandy. They know you are our best defender. So what do? They feed you this child's puzzle, to confirm your suspicions. They want you to move the panzer divisions from Calais to Normandy. And the moment you do, the real invasion, Patton's Fusag, will land at Calais and walk straight to Berlin. The argument is perfect. The Fusag deception is so vast, so complete, that it has created its own gravity. It is a lie so powerful that it bends the truth around it. The Abwehr colonel, seeing his report dismissed, attempts one last protest. But Herr General, the source. It is a schoolmaster. We have a file on him. Leonard Dawe. He appears to be completely harmless. What if it is not a plant? What if it is simply a mistake? A mistake? Spadell laughs, a short, sharp, mirthless sound. A mistake that contains the entire enemy order of battle? Colonel, you are naive. This is the Anglo-Saxon mind at its most devious. They are playing with us. Rommel looks at the crosswords one last time. His gut, the gut of the desert fox, screams that this is real. The names, the places, they feel right. But his mind is trapped by Spadell's logic. He is trapped by Garbo. If he moves the panzers, and he is wrong, he dooms the Reich. If he leaves the panzers, and he is wrong, he dooms Normandy. But all the official intelligence, the professional work, points to Calais. Only this thing, points to Normandy. He cannot risk it. He cannot go to Hitler with a crossword puzzle as his only evidence against the entire Abwehr and OKW intelligence apparatus. He throws the file onto the desk. It is a trick. File it as disinformation, level 1. It is an attempt to draw our armour away from the Küstenschutzabschnitt, coastal defence sector, at Pas-de-Calais. We will not fall for it. The Abwehr colonel, dismissed and humiliated, salutes and exits the room. The generals turn back to their maps of Calais. 3 days later, in the pre-dawn darkness of June 6th, 1944, the first waves of the 4th Infantry Division hit the beach at a place codenamed Utah. Miles away, the men of the 29th and 1st Divisions are torn to pieces by German machine guns on the sands of Omaha. In his office, Leonard Dawe, under house arrest, listens to the BBC broadcast announcing the landings, his body shaking with a relief so profound he faints. And in La Roche-Guyon, a frantic Field Marshal Rommel, who has been on leave in Germany, races back to his headquarters, screaming for the panzer divisions to be released. But they are hundreds of miles away, held in reserve, dutifully waiting for an invasion at Pas-de-Calais, an invasion that will never, ever come. June 12th, 1944, Effingham, Surrey. The front pages of the newspapers are no longer cryptic. They are a blaze of maps, arrows, and triumphant headlines. Beachhead secured. Cherbourg Peninsula cut off. Heroic assault in Normandy. For 10 days, Leonard Dawe has sat in his paper-filled study, a prisoner in his own home, listening to the war unfold on the radio. He has listened to the names Utah, Omaha spoken by the BBC announcer, and each time a jolt of ice-cold terror has gone through him. He, a simple schoolmaster, had held the fate of all those men in his ink-stained hands. He hears the crunch of gravel outside, the black Wolseley. The door opens. It is Mr. Lord. The MI5 man looks exhausted. The skin around his eyes is grey. He enters the study, not as an interrogator, but as a man bearing a strange message. He places his hat on a stack of books. "Mr. Dawe," he says, his voice flat. Dawe, who has risen to his feet, just nods, unable to speak. "As of this morning, Mr. Lord continues, you are no longer required to remain at home. The men outside have been recalled. Your mail will be delivered. You may, for all intents and purposes, resume your life." Dawe sags, clutching the back of his chair. The relief is so sudden, so total, it's a physical blow. "So, it's all right? They didn't?" Mr. Lord allows himself the smallest, most tired of smiles. It's a smile of pure, unadulterated irony. "Oh, they saw it, Mr. Dawe. They got it. The whole package." Dawe is confused. But then, the landings, they succeeded. I don't understand. If the Germans knew? "That's the genius of it," Mr. Lord says, sitting on the edge of the desk. "They didn't know. They believed. They just believed the wrong thing. We, Mr. Dawe, we have been running the most complicated deception in human history, Operation Fortitude, a phantom army in Kent, led by General Patton, poised to strike at Pas-de-Calais. He gestures to the crosswords, still sitting on Dawe's desk. "For 2 years, we've been feeding the Germans a diet of masterful, intricate lies. We built rubber tanks. We created fake radio traffic. We turned their entire spy network in this country. We built a lie so vast and so believable that when you came along and accidentally published the complete, unvarnished truth, they looked at it, analysed it, and concluded it was simply another brilliant lie." Dawe can only stare. "They thought we planted it," Mr. Lord explains, his voice full of wonder. "They thought it was a trick to make them move their panzers to Normandy so our real army could invade Calais. Your puzzles, Mr. Dawe, your innocent, terrifyingly accurate puzzles, became the final, perfect confirmation of our deception. They were so convinced we were lying, they couldn't see the truth when it was handed to them on a breakfast table." He stands up, putting his hat back on. "You, sir, are the luckiest, most dangerous man in England. Your hobby nearly cost us the war. And then, in the end, it may have just helped us save it. The truth, Mr. Dawe, is sometimes the most implausible story of all." Mr. Lord turns and leaves. Leonard Dawe, the schoolmaster, is left alone in his study. He looks at his ledgers, his lists of words. He walks to the window and watches the black car drive away. He is a free man. He never created another crossword for the Daily Telegraph again. The story, for decades, remained a secret, sealed in the BIGOT files, a wartime rumour. An officer's mess hall legend. Then, in 1984, the files began to open, and the truth came out, even more bizarre than MI5 had known. A man named Ronald French, a former student at Strand School, read an article about the old mystery. He came forward. He was one of the boys. He confirmed it all. As a 4-year-old, he had crept out of school to hang around the massive sealed-off Canadian and American camps nearby. He'd talked to the soldiers, listened to their slang. He'd heard them talk about Utah and Omaha. He'd heard the term Overlord used by a board officer. He had collected these strange, exciting words in his own notebook. And then, just as he'd said, Leonard Dawe, his pedantic, word-obsessed homeroom teacher, had seen the notebook while grading his homework. Dawe, the professional word catcher, had simply copied them. There was no spy. There was no traitor. There was no grand conspiracy. There was only a chain of human chatter. A proud engineer, a homesick soldier, a curious schoolboy, and a crossword compiler looking for a good 5-letter word. The greatest secret of the Second World War wasn't kept by codes, or guards, or barbed wire. In the end, it was kept by the enemy's absolute refusal to believe that the truth could ever be that simple, or that an entire invasion plan could be leaked by a crossword puzzle.